everyone, I'm Aveline. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So, we are doing a build today. Don't worry. We're gonna get started in a second, but before we do, I do want to talk a little bit about cybersecurity with you because today's video is actually sponsored by NordPass. So you've probably heard about NordVPN. The cybersecurity experts behind NordVPN have also created NordPass, which is a cybersecurity tool that's created to make your online life a little bit easier and also safer. So if you have a Twitch account, for example, you probably remember a couple of months ago that everyone's passwords were reset because of a leak. And I don't know about you, but I find that to be a major hassle because I suck at remembering my passwords. Like, I suck at it. And that's where NordPass comes in. Because with NordPass, you can store all your passwords in one place so you don't have to memorize them. You can also log in faster with the autofill feature, generate secure passwords to keep your accounts safer, shop and browse faster on the internet as well by storing all your credit card and personal information on NordPass. I think the coolest feature is the data breach scanner though, because it'll notify you if any of your credit card or your account information has been leaked, and it'll also identify where and when the leak happened and what information has been compromised. So if you're looking for more cybersecurity, I would definitely recommend checking out NordPass, and you can currently get 71% off a NordPass premium plan if you use code Aveline or by using the link in the top of the description box or the one in the pinned comment. Plus you also get an additional month for free, and I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty good deal to me, so I'm just saying. But thank you again so much to NordPass for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get started with our build, shall we? Yeah, let's go. So today we are building another house in Tortosa. This one is built on a 30 by 20 actually. It's a wide lot instead of a long lot. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but you can see it's wider than it's longer. Anyways, I always feel kind of weird building on these kinds of lots just because I don't know, like where do you put the garden and stuff? So for this house I decided, also because the house that I was building kind of had like almost like a cafe kind of feel to it. It is not a cafe or whatever the correct word for that is, because it does have like the original house. Okay, so this house is inspired by a picture that I found on Pinterest, and the original house kind of felt like it looked very Italian, and it looked like it was, I forgot what the right term for that is, but it looked like a place you'd go to get lunch. They probably serve dinner too, but like one of those lunch places. It isn't though. I didn't create it as a cafe, whatever the right term for it is, because it's definitely not cafe. But I didn't create it as such just because the upstairs would have been way too small. So it is a house, it is a home. You have to enter the upstairs by walking up the stairs outside. That is the thing that we're dealing with in this house. But I actually wanted, I did that on purpose. The original house didn't have that. I did that, but that's because I wanted it to have more detail on the exterior. I could have possibly most likely fit in a staircase inside the house, but it also made floor planning a little bit easier. And if you've been hanging out with me on stream, you would know that the last house that I've been floor planning was not fun to floor plan. So I just needed to do something a little bit easier for this one. We're still building on that other house, by the way. I'm taking a sort of like a self-care, emergency self-care kind of day-to-day just to myself, by the way. So I'm not streaming tonight, even though that was the initial plan. But just for those of you who were counting on going to the stream tonight, it's not happening because I am actually not feeling that well. I'm still doing this voiceover though, because, you know, we gotta get this build up on the channel, but just not feeling super well. My throat hurts and stuff, but it's fine. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the build. So even though it does have a cafe feel to it, it is still just a home. And then because the whole thing about the lot being wide, I decided in the end to place down a lot of fruit trees. For some reason, one of the fruit trees doesn't match the others. I don't know what that's about, but that's fine. I found the trees in the debug catalog, by the way. They're all under base game, so they're super easy to find. And then if you just shift click them, by the way, you can set them to the right growth state that you want. So that's how I did that, just in case anybody asks later on and I forget to explain it. But they have this like mini orchard next to the house almost, where I kind of imagine them to grow their own fruit and stuff. So they have like 4 different types of fruit trees next to the house, next to the patio. Had a lot of fun with also platforms here at the front of the house, slightly inspired by the bigger house that we're building on stream right now, because there's a lot of platformage going on there too, like a lot. So I wanted to do something, also because this is actually built in the same area. You might be able to actually scout the other house in the background now and then. I'm not really sure if I end up filming it at any point, but you might be able, even though it'll be super blurry because of my reshade, but you might be able to spot it. So, but that'll be up on the channel sometime next week, I think around Thursday or Friday or so. But since we are building these houses in the same area, I kind of wanted to take that platformage situation and bring it onto this house too. So I had some fun with the platforms, made some stairs, played around with different levels, also marked up some areas where I wanted to add some landscaping as well, and also just to add some details to the exterior, because the house that I took inspiration from was definitely a very simple looking house. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of shape to the house itself. It's very boxy, and the original house was also very plain in like what's called like with wallpapers and stuff, and that's just not something that I feel translates very well into The Sims, so I had to add a lot of stuff to the house myself just to make it look a little bit more detailed. As I like my builds, at least, I'm sure there are other people that like them a little bit more minimalistic, if you will. But also because I added so much platform to the, or so many platforms to the exterior, and I also added sort of like a staircase going down. It's almost like when you enter the house, you almost walk down into a half basement or something, but you don't really, but it's kind of like you do. Because of that, it was a little bit difficult to fit in platforms as well in the interior of the house, but I figured it out. So it's a little bit funny in here though. Everything is sort of in the same room, which I'm sure wouldn't make sense or wouldn't work in real life, but it's a good thing that we're playing a game. We're just playing The Sims, so we can do whatever we want. And there's only a terrace on top of the common area, as also where the living room slash study slash dining area is. There's only a terrace on top, so there's no heavy walls to carry and stuff like that. But yeah, everything is sort of in one room in here, so you can probably tell, like, I still feel like this would make a good room for a cafe looking situation, because you could have the kitchen down here and then have a lot of tables and chairs where the rest of the furniture is. But it just, the upstairs is too small to add. Well, it's not too small, but I didn't want to make a tiny house, a tiny apartment on top of this house. I wanted them to have the whole house to themselves, but you could, if you want this exterior, but basically this is my point, okay. If you want this exterior and make a cafe or something like that instead, you most definitely could, because you just take out all the furniture in this part of the house, and then they even have a bathroom upstairs, so the only thing you'll have to find room for is basically a kitchen for them, unless they just use the kitchen in the cafe part of the build. So it could be possible, but I just wanted them to have a living room and all of that, so, you know, it's just a house, but you could turn it into like a cafe, home business with an apartment on top sort of situation if you want to. I could also see this as like the upstairs is almost like an Airbnb that you can rent, and then there's the cafe down here on the bottom floor. You could do that sort of situation, so it's more like an apartment. If they don't have a kitchen, at least it would be more like an apartment that you can rent, but then you'd have to eat at the cafe downstairs or something like that. Maybe it's included in the price. I'm sure there are places like that too, so maybe it's included in the price that you pay when you rent the place, and you just go down for breakfast and dinner and whatever else. So I could imagine that too, but I'm not sure how that would translate into The Sims, what to do. I don't even know if you can actually do home businesses without mods. I'm pretty sure you can't. But I just keep building them, so I'm sorry about that. I just enjoy building them sometimes. This is not one of those, but I still enjoy building them sometimes, because it's kind of like, it's kind of almost the only way you can get me to actually build a business or a community lot, because I don't enjoy building community lots. I just don't. It seems impersonal, and I just don't like it. It's a lot more fun when you also add like an apartment on top of a cafe or restaurant or whatever, a store, if you will, because then you can at least add some kind of personality to the build, and maybe you can even like tie the two together so that it also shows that sort of personality in the cafe downstairs. You get what I mean? Like, that's just a little bit more fun than just building a restaurant. I don't know, it just doesn't seem fun to me. So I'm sure other people enjoy them, but I just personally don't. Plus, aren't restaurants, like speaking of restaurants, aren't they super bugged these days? I don't actually know. It's been a while since I've even played or built one, so I don't actually remember. But I have a feeling that they're super bugged though. But anyway, it's not important to this build because this is not a restaurant, it's not a cafe. My point just is this definitely has a cafe feel to it if you look at the exterior of the house. So yeah, but they do have 2 bathrooms. This one is definitely a bit on the more luxurious side. They have both or that means the upstairs has, I actually forgot hampers, I just remembered, but they do have laundry machines, so that is the thing, you might have to place down a hamper just somewhere in the house, but I forgot it, sorry about that. But this is definitely the more luxurious bathroom of the 2. It's a little bit bigger. They have shower and bathtub separated from each other, whereas here on the upstairs, or in the upstairs bathroom, they have a shower bathtub combo, but that's basically the difference. It just feels like it's a little bit more luxurious, even though I'm pretty sure the shower that I use for this bathroom upstairs, I don't think I filmed it, by the way, but that shower is actually better for your Sims than either of the, like, both the shower and the bathtub in the bottom floor bathroom. But I never really take the whole like what the furniture does for your Sims into consideration when I build. I really don't care because I just want it to look pretty, you know? Otherwise, I'd always go for the tub items, you know? And I don't even like those items because those are the traditional looking ones, the ones that are way too detailed, and yeah, I don't like them. So we're just gonna do it like this. It's fine. But otherwise, I'd always go for those items. But also, I don't like them. But if I cared for the Sims and their needs and stuff, and so that your Sims wouldn't have to lie in bed for 9 hours or 12 hours or however long that is, so they could get their sleep up a little bit faster. Did I just say up up a little bit faster? I would definitely go for some of the items that gave your Sims better, you know what I mean. I don't know how to phrase that, but whatever, you know what I mean. But I don't care, so just deal with it. I don't care for your Sims, okay? I don't care. But anyway, I just care what my builds look like, essentially. They do have this little walk-in closet, but I didn't want to use the actual walk-in closet elements from Dream Home Decorator because they didn't feel like they would fit with the rest of the house. They're a little bit too modern and clean for this kind of house, I feel. So I decided to go for 2 wardrobes instead, but you can just change it up if you want to. If you want it to look like a proper walk-in closet, you can definitely just change it up to your liking. You're always welcome to change my builds up so that they fit with whatever household that you're playing with or whatever else you need for the house. Like if you want to change that to a study instead, you're most welcome to. I just decided that it would be fun to kind of have like a little bit of a walk-in closet situation going on. Also because it just added kind of this like luxury element to the apartment too. So also because I feel like this is not necessarily like a home. It feels more like, not like a rental, full-on rental either, because they do have a study and stuff, but it doesn't feel like a home either. Maybe it's like a vacation home for a specific set of Sims, I don't know. So like they own it themselves and they go there every now and then or something like that, because I'm not getting rental vibes, but I'm not getting full-on home vibes either from this house. I don't know, that's a weird one. What do you think? Let me know. Let's do some interpretations of this build. That was definitely supposed to be a home, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think so. Actually, I think when I was building it, I also wasn't thinking that it was going to be a full-on home. I think sometimes I was like, yeah, this is a home, but sometimes I was like, no, this is definitely a rental, so I don't really know. What do you think? I'm really loving the debug trees, by the way. So the little tree that I placed in front of the house on the right is actually, I believe it's from Island Living, and it comes in some different swatches, but the other tree, the pink one, and also one of the ones that I place, I don't know if I placed it down yet, but yeah, I have this one here that you can see right now. Those are debug trees from the pack. I don't know why they're not under just trees, why they're only in debug. I don't know, because they're pretty nice and I would have liked them to just be under trees. That would have made sense. But they're not. So anyway, but if you go looking for them, remember that they can be found under the debug catalog. And I really like them. I feel like sometimes when you do sometimes when I do landscaping, I want to make sure that it suits with the surroundings. That's also why I've been using a lot of this like lavender sort of looking grass for my landscaping in these houses. Because there's a lot of that scattered around Tortosa. Sorry, not Tortosa. I keep calling it Tortosa sometimes. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, there's a lot of this lavender kind of grass around, and also just grass and these trees as well. Also the birch trees or birch trees. I don't actually know how to pronounce that. I don't think I've ever heard anybody pronounce that. Anyway, but those trees as well. So I use specific items so that it fits with the surroundings, and those two trees fit. So debug catalog, yes. I was also kind of debating with myself whether or not I should fence up this area to kind of make sure that vermin or whatever, maybe not just rabbits, they're not really present in Tortosa, are they? I don't think so. But whatever could, damage the trees so that they would stay out of it. But it just looked like, I didn't like it. So it's a good thing that in The Sims, nothing will damage the trees. As long as you take care of them as a sim, you'll be fine. But at least you got, like, if you download this from the gallery, you got a whole 16 fully grown trees. So that's pretty nice. I would say that's pretty luxurious. But as you can see, one of them doesn't match the other, and I didn't notice until now. So that's a little bit annoying. I'm looking at the floor plan pic so I can kind of see the trees from above, and I'm like, why is that one sticking out so much? It's in the second row from the back on the right side. For some reason, it doesn't match the other trees. I don't know why, but it's fine. It's okay. It's all right. Oh yeah, this was a fun little wedding arch that I was considering using for an entry, like a door somewhere, and it really looked cute over there, but then I was like, maybe it would block the staircase, so I'm gonna use it for something else. It's super pretty though. But anyway, that's what it was. So we're at the end of this voiceover now, so I'm gonna wrap up this video. You cannot download this build just yet, but I will update you over on the community tab when you can, so keep an eye on that. If you like book videos, definitely check out my book channel. You can find a link to that through the link tree, which is in the description. I'll try to include it in the pinned comment as well. But if I forget, there's a link to it through the link tree, where you can also find a link to my Twitch channel, by the way, if you want to hang out with us tomorrow evening, so Monday. But that is all I got today, so I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye! Paradoxical, captured you in a foggy cloud, baby. Standing on my toes on the edge, I'm ready to go. See it clear when the shadows are lit, I'm ready to go.